Welcome, Allie.
Hey, how's it going?
Excellent. Allie's going to be one of 32 authors at the Fall Book Festival that is taking place on October 18th at the historic Greer Depot in downtown Greer, South Carolina. I am so excited for this event and to have you be a part of it. We're going to have about 51 different genres represented, around 150 book titles, and authors from 9 states. So,
Ooh.
yeah. So we have like so much diversity going on. I absolutely love it. Tell us about the books that you're going to have.
I write sports romance with mental health and disability wrap, and I write neurospicy romance. So I
Okay.
have some hockey books. I
Oh.
will have some college football books. I will have a women's rugby book, and I will have my neurospicy book club books. So these are the brand new covers just came out last week. They're
Oh.
not officially on Amazon yet. They come out on Monday. And I have them here with me. They are so pretty.
Ooh. I
Um,
love the colors.
Thank you. So we've got some neurospicy romance books. So I write a lot of own voices. I write other diagnoses that I do not currently have, but I do write a lot of own voices.
Mhm.
And I really wanted to showcase some neurodiverse perspectives. So
Mhm.
I have a book where she doesn't know she's autistic until he tells her. That is the thought
Oh.
of you. She knows she's a little bit different, but can't quite figure it out. And he
Mhm.
helps her develop some coping strategies and introduces her to the Neurospicy Book Club. So the owner of the bookstore is a romance writer with ADHD. He's a
Mhm.
sportscaster with type 2 diabetes, and this is Sports Ball is for Lovers. They meet on a kink app, and they are instant enemies when they're wearing clothes again. And then we've got Tripped Up. This is a hockey romance. Both characters have anxiety, and they had a one night stand 13 years ago, and he said some not nice things after, and she overheard, and she's hated him ever since. Uh,
Ooh.
all three books are enemies to lovers and best friend's brother. So
Mm.
we got a little bit of a theme going, and they're
Mhm.
all different flavors of neurospicy, and they're all part of the book club, and they're so fun. They're so fun, and look how pretty they are together.
They
Like,
do. They just like they go together so well. People have to buy them as a set then.
yes, they do. Buy all three. I do a bundle on the three, and they come with character art and swag, and it's just
Ooh.
like, I can even tie it with a bow. I won't tie it with the bow because I cannot tie bows. But we can pretend.
Me neither. So, hey.
I still can't do that trick where you like curl the end of a ribbon with a pair of scissors. I just cut my thumb every time. So,
No, I buy them pre-done.
yeah, I do just that.
So, what other books will you have with you?
I will have my Boston Grizzlies series. So I have 3 books in the series right now. Book 4 comes out in November, and I
Mm.
will take pre-orders for the book 4 if you'd like it. Puck Me Twice is a autistic hockey player, second chance and fake dating. After their one night stand, he let her get away. And when she needs a fake boyfriend to get her ex off her back, he volunteers. It's
That
fake
is
for her, but
awesome.
real for him. Home for the Holidays is a Hanukkah novella.
Ooh.
He is her ex's younger brother and a hockey goalie and a golden retriever. And she is a nuclear physicist and recently dumped and needs a place to stay. And their mothers meddle and have her move in. And she thinks she's going to be living with the third brother. And instead, she
Mm.
moves in with the brother who's always had a crush on her.
Ooh.
And then Body Check is the third series. It is age gap, exhibitionist voyeur, workplace romance. She sees a man in the apartment across the way from her,
Mhm.
anyone in that apartment, and gives him a show in the middle of the night. And the next day, she walks into her brand new job and finds out he's the hockey team captain who is
Oh,
recently
no.
and has a bad knee. And she's the physical therapist who has to put her hands all over him.
That is awesome.
So I do write spicy romance. The spice is relatively low spice on the scale. It's about 2 chili
Mhm.
peppers, and it
Okay.
ends up being about 20% of the book. So if
Mm.
you are interested in spice but a little timid about it, my
Mhm.
books are the perfect entry level spice. And they do dabble a little bit with kink depending on the book, but it is
Mhm.
still low spice.
Okay. Very cool. How did you how in the world do you come up with all of these different um storylines? Because, my brain wouldn't have gone to any of those directions.
Um, so I, first and foremost, I am a sports fan. I write
Okay.
sports romance because I am a sports fan. And I have a list of story ideas that's about 175 story ideas deep.
Wow.
Just different tropes, different settings, different premises, things I'd like to write one day.
Okay.
And most of them are sports, but some of them are not. And I glance around the room and I come up with the 5 story ideas. Um,
Hmm.
I typically start with the trope first and build it from there, or a character profile, and I build it from there.
Mhm.
Um, I write series, so I try to connect all the characters together. So, okay, I'm going to write a hockey team, and
Mhm.
I want to write Grumpy Sunshine and fake dating and siblings best friend. Like those are my bread and butter.
Mhm.
Enemies to lovers, friends to lovers is my catnip. But so, okay, what story ideas do I have in my bank that I can fit into this puzzle?
Mhm.
And I like to call writing doing a puzzle without knowing what the picture looks like.
Mhm.
So you have the pieces you're putting together, but you don't know what the end result will be until you put the pieces together. And
Hmm.
I am not a plotter. I
Okay, that I was gonna ask.
I do outline, but I'm not a plotter.
Okay.
And I very often I will have to replot or re-outline the book 3 or 4
Mhm.
times. But that's part of my process. And once I
Yeah.
learned that, I accepted it. But I want to fit the pieces together in a way that is approachable and enticing.
Okay. Now you said that I think it was with the first collection, that some of that is some stuff that you personally deal with
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah.
So, but you also venture off into stuff that you don't personally deal with.
Mhm.
So, what does that look like? How much time do you spend researching and all of that kind of stuff for?
I spend a good time researching. I have sensitivity readers that help me validate that I'm on the right track.
Okay.
I wrote a book earlier this year with a character who has POTS and EDS and endometriosis. And I
Mhm.
took those diagnoses directly from a person that I know in real life. So,
Okay.
based on my experience with this person,
Mhm.
I was able to have a foundation of the character. And then I reached out to several sensitivity readers, and they said, "Oh yeah, this is on the right track," or "Oh no, she might not do this."
Okay.
But I have known this person for quite some time, so
Mhm.
I've seen up close some of her um, experiences, some of her setbacks.
Mhm.
So one time I walked into the room to find her passed out on the floor. So
Oh.
that didn't get into the book, but I've seen some of the lows as well as the
Mhm.
highs.
Okay.
I've seen the day to day impact on her life. And I really used that in the character. And then I validated it with sensitivity readers who I had a team of people who were able to look at it and say, yeah, this is on the right track.
So where did you find your sensitivity readers?
On Threads.
Okay.
I put out a call and said, "Hey, I'm writing a character with POTS and EDS who is interested in reading the book and telling me, giving me some feedback." And I
Okay.
had, first of all, before I did that, I said, "I'm writing a character with POTS and EDS who can tell me about it." I did the research
Okay.
first. And then I had 8 or 9 people that I gave a list of questions to. And then I picked the 3 or 4 people who gave me the best responses
Oh,
in
okay.
terms of like explanation and thoroughness and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, excuse me. I went from the 9 to about 3, and I gave
Mhm.
those 3 the full book and said, "Okay, read through this. Let me know what you think."
Mhm.
And then I made some tweaks based off their responses.
Interesting. So I never would have thought to go to Threads and find sensitivity readers. That's a great idea and great resource that I don't think a lot of people would realize that going into some of these areas of social media, you may actually get some really good feedback from people.
Yeah, I'm on a very writerly side of Threads, so
Mhm.
I get a lot of ARC readers and a lot of
Okay.
feedback from Threads. I primarily use it for my own personal consumption,
Mhm.
but as an author, I use it primarily for ARC readers
Okay.
and to interact with bookstores.
Oh, bookstores are on Threads.
Yes.
That's a good thing to let people know too.
Yes, I am in about a dozen indie bookstores throughout the country, and
Okay.
I source them entirely through Threads.
Oh, okay. Now, when you found them on Threads, how was that approach? Were they looking for indie authors or did you
Some were,
okay.
some I pitched. Um, I have a standard pitch that I do, and
Okay.
I just cold DM and say, "Hey, this is me. Are you interested?" I had
Okay.
someone I reached out to maybe 6 months ago
Mhm.
in South Carolina. They're a couple hours away.
Okay.
And I reached out maybe 6 months ago. And last week they messaged and say, "Hey, we'd love to stock your book. We'd love to have you come by."
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but there was that delay between when I pitched and when they were available, which is fine
Mhm.
because you can't expect a pitch to come back immediately.
Okay.
Um, it's not up to your schedule, it's up to theirs. And so, you know, I'm appreciative of all the feedback that I've gotten.
That's always a good point that it's not up to our timeline. It's their time because I know sometimes authors get really impatient going, "But I sent them something."
I had a friend who lives here in Greenville,
Mhm.
who is an author, and she's way more popular than I am. But we
Okay.
were interacting on Instagram and interacting on Threads, and I'd be in her comments, and she'd reply to me. But when I sent her a DM, it took her about 3 months to receive it because it went to her spam.
Oh.
And now that I'm out of her spam, we talk
Mhm.
on multiple platforms all the time. We've met in person, we've hung out, like, and she's a good writer friend. But that first contact 3 months ago went to her spam,
Mhm.
and I had no way of knowing that. I figured she was just occupied or didn't want to respond.
Mhm.
Um, but she had to go looking for me, and then she found the message.
And that's a good point too, is that sometimes things end up in the spam box,
Mhm,
whether it's DMs, whether it's emails.
mhm,
And I've even had the odd email go into a spam box, even though I'd been corresponding with people.
mhm.
so so always check the spam box.
Yeah.
So you said that you've got quite a few storylines that you have in the works
Mhm.
or at least a list of.
Yeah.
And you've got one book coming out in November. What
Mhm.
else is on should we expect to see from you?
I will have either 4 or 5 books in 2026 to
Mm,
wrap up my Boston Grizzlies series.
okay.
And I am working on some reader magnets and short stories that will be available in 2026. So I'm
Mhm,
currently prepping ahead. So I will have at least one short story in 2026,
mhm.
plus Power Play coming out in November, and then working on some fun special edition and other secret stuff.
Ooh, secret
Um,
stuff. We like that.
Secret stuff that will be revealed in early 2026.
Ooh.
Um, I'm working on some translations now.
Oh,
Um, I'm working on a whole bunch of stuff. So there, stay tuned. There will be a lot coming up.
so your translations, what languages and who's doing the translations?
I'm using Scribe Shadow, and I will be starting with German.
Okay. How did you pick that?
Market research, just
Oh,
knowing where
okay.
the market is and what my genre is doing.
Mhm,
Um, I have 14 books out right now, so I'm doing them slowly.
mhm.
And every 2 weeks, we'll be releasing another one. Um, and that takes me through like May of next year. And at some point, I will be adding French and Italian and probably Dutch, but
Ooh,
I need to figure out the bandwidth that it requires before I can commit to dates for those.
okay.
Um, but I expect that at one point I will have 3 to 5 releases of the translations a month. Um,
Wow.
because the hard part is setting up a structure for it. Once
Mhm,
we get in the flow, it's really not that difficult.
mhm.
But having the bandwidth to do it is the question. I do work a 40-hour a week day job. I do work a 40-hour a week author job.
Mm.
So having the time to add something else to my plate is quite daunting.
So the program that you mentioned for translating,
Mhm.
is that something that you personally do, or is that, like, something that somebody else is working on? How does that work?
Yeah, someone else is working on it. So you give
Okay.
them the file and they translate it.
Okay. So it's not like it's not going into some kind of software, it's actually going to another human and
It is a
saying,
software.
"Oh, it is a
It's software.
software."
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, so you've mentioned sports.
Mhm.
So which sports and which teams?
So I have quite the spread of teams. Whenever I tell people this, they are
Mhm.
quite surprised. Um, so hockey team, my first sport is the Boston Bruins. Um,
Okay.
I was researching hockey for a book I wrote that will never
Mhm.
be published. And I watched the behind the scenes documentaries of like 4 or 5 different teams. I
Okay.
remember starting with Buffalo and saying, ew, Buffalo. And then I watched Pittsburgh and then I think Philly. And somehow YouTube suggested me to the Boston Bruins behind the beat. And I devoured their series. They
Okay.
had like 5 seasons at the time, and I devoured them. And I fell in love with the team, partly because of Bergeron, but also just the team. It's my team. I fell in love with
Okay.
basketball. So that's my hockey. I
Mhm.
don't like any other Boston sports teams, just the Bruins.
Really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
tolerate the Red Sox because here in South Carolina we have that connection, but I tolerate the Red Sox. My cousins are diehard Yankees fans, so they already disowned me.
That's okay.
My college football is Michigan. Um,
Okay.
so I did not go to Michigan. I went to a small school in California that did not have a football team.
Okay.
My brother went to Eastern Michigan, which is
Okay.
half an hour from the University of Michigan.
Yep.
And I was visiting him one day, and I had half a day because he was in class. So I took a tour of U of M, and I fell in
Oh,
love. This was almost 8 years before I became a football fan, but I fell
okay.
in love with the school. So I started following the Michigan gymnastics team. and then the Michigan hockey team. And then in 2020, there was nothing on TV, so I started watching college football. And I fell in love with the Michigan football team that year. It
Mhm.
was a terrible season for us. Terrible.
Mhm.
Um, but then the next season was pretty good. So, and then eventually in 2023 they won the championship. So it all balances out. I've been there through the bad times. But I because of Aiden Hutchinson in particular, and then Jared
Mhm.
Goff, I became a Detroit Lions fan. So in the olden times, back when I was living in LA, I hated the Rams. Hated
Okay.
it. But when I moved to San Diego, I'm like, okay, I can tolerate the Rams now. But I liked the Rams. And then they traded Stafford for Goff, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to keep following Goff. And I
Mhm.
started watching the Lions before they were good. And then,
Which was many, many years.
yeah, it was painful. And then they drafted Aiden Hutchinson, and he is electric. And I liked him at Michigan,
Mhm.
and he's one of the reasons why I'm still a Lions fan. Goff and Hutchinson, like those are my two
Mhm.
guys. Um, but so I'm a Detroit Lions fan.
Mhm.
And then my baseball team, who I begrudgingly tolerate, are the San Diego Padres. They are
Okay.
my hometown team. And in 2020, the year of nothing on TV, they were pretty damn good. That was Tatis's breakout season,
Mhm.
and he is so much fun. He's also electric, just like Hutch, and I begrudgingly tolerate them. Right now, they hurt more than they help. But so I follow San Diego Padres.
So do any of these teams or players, do some of their personalities get into your books?
Yes. There is a former Michigan player who I have modeled a character after.
Okay.
I don't know this guy in real life. I have no
Mhm.
idea if he really is as nice as I imagine he is. Um,
We'll go with he is.
but I wrote an insecure linebacker who is the tutor for a feisty sorority sister in
Okay.
the game plan. And his physical description is very much based off this linebacker and what
Mhm.
I imagined him to be like in person. And I
Oh,
wrote this back when he was still at Michigan and way too young for me to be thinking of him that way.
okay.
I'm
That's
almost
okay.
old
We'll
enough
just
to be his
age
mother.
him.
Like, I would have been very young, but I'm almost old enough to be his mother. Like,
It's that borderline.
yeah. Yeah, I'm about 12, 13 years older than him. So it's like
Okay.
just enough that it's like, it's not appropriate. But that's why it's fictional and not based on anyone in real life whatsoever.
Okay. It's always fun to work with characters that you could picture who they are, though, when
Mhm.
you're writing.
Yeah,
I think it gives that little more authenticity, especially to dialogue,
yeah.
when you can almost hear their voice in your head.
Mhm.
Well, awesome. This has been so much fun. I love chatting with you. And this is different. We're online versus in person. But I will definitely be seeing you in October.
I'll be there.
Thank you so much for taking this time out of your day to come and chat about your writing and sports.
Yeah.
Thank you.